Nari, punta po Baguio Benguet tour po tayo. So number 1, punta po tayo sa Ato. Bali 4:30, arrival na po natin sa Ato sa may Northern Luzon for Sunset Viewing. Doon din po tayo mag-breakfast. Then farm tour, 9:30, punta na po tayo for the second highest point. After that, Hidden Cypress, Botanical Garden. Doon din po tayo mag-snack and tour. Tapos, departure din ulit tayo papuntang Mount Oli's arrival. For 12 o'clock p.m. doon din po tayo magla-lunch. Then, 1 o'clock, doon din po magkakaroon ng team tour and team building departure. 1 o'clock to 4, yun po, tour and team building. 4:30, punta na po tayo sa public market. Mamimili po tayo ng for dinner po natin papuntang Heights Place. Doon po tayo magdi-dinner sa Kanag-i-Stay. For second day, punta po tayo sa Tublay. Departure po natin is 7 o'clock. Breakfast po tayo sa Northern Coffee House. Then, to Amandos Farm, 8:30 andun po tayo. Doon din po tayo mag-snack. 11, Beacon Hill. Then, 11:30, Pulix Farm. Doon din po tayo magla-lunch. Then for sa Pulix Farm, doon po tayo mag-harvest ng mga berries. Then magdi-demo po tayo gagawa po tayo ng wine for beers. Then after 4 o'clock, departure din po tayo papuntang Wintaka. Dito po sa Wintaka may mga cultural dance din po sila, pwede natin request. Then handwoven arts and craft, forest house roof, and titira po tayo matutulog sa huts, cultural house. 4 o'clock, arrival po natin doon. Then sa may D3 sa Baguio po tayo, departure po natin is 7 o'clock from Wintaka to Baguio. Magkakapi po tayo sa Farm to Cup, dito po sa may long. Tayo po ang gagawa for DIY coffee po natin. Then magti-tree planting din po tayo then for coffee. After how many hours, pupunta po tayo sa Farmer's Daughters. Doon po tayo magla-lunch. Then doon din po tayo gagawa ng top 12 inunutat, kiniin, magiging po with the owner sa pangalan ng Tagay or si Mr. Ang. Then departure po natin end of the tour po. Salamat.
Okay, thank you. So, ang nangyari po doon, we have actually 2 parts. So, the first was a team building from a company. Ginawa na namin sila ng tour for their activities. But yung second part natin, this is another group of tourists coming from Cebu City to Baguio. Kasi meron na po tayong flight coming from Cebu to Baguio. So, ito naman, this is the 7-day tour na ginawa ko namin. So, they are balikbayans. And ayun nga, sinundo po namin sila ng pagdating ng plane na around 11:55 in the morning sa Luacan Airport. So, yan po yung scenario. So, very obviously, nandito na sila sa Baguio. We did not waste any time for them to enjoy the scene of Baguio. And we have explained to them pertaining about Baguio that Baguio started with Kapagway, with the chieftain, an Ibarong chieftain named Mateo Carino, as the background, the history of Baguio. And of course, the American colonial period we have also told them that during the American colonial period, we were under them for the 48 years. And Baguio was easily one of the mountain resort. So they were so excited. Kitang-kita po namin sa kanilang mukha because they want the history and the culture of Baguio and of course the rest of the Cordillera. So with a big smile and of course our gesture as mabuhay, we started our tour already. Yeah. So ang unang-una po natin pinuntahan is historical kasi malapit na po kami doon. We brought them to Canandaigua, which is one of the best scenery and the best construction ever had during the early 1900s. And it is named after a major and was promoted as colonel, that is Colonel Lehman Cannon. It was only named to him, that was 1922. It started with the Benguet Road, as I told them. So, very much sila kasi nakita namin, they came from states, balikbayan sila. And they have also their husbands na mga kamo. Sabi niya sa akin, I did not know that. Well, this time we will learn. Sabi ko sa kanya. So from that, they're curious. What's that yellow thing there? Oh, that's the lion head. Let's go to the lion head. That is to signify that Lions Club International is here in Baguio. And it started with Melvin Jones. That Melvin Jones is from Chicago, Illinois. He's the founder of Lions Head International. Bulag ka naman ng kano. Talaga? Sabi, really? Sabi, well, yes, sabi ko. Not only that, other more historical places because Baguio was designed by the Americans as early 1900. After the Treaty of Paris in 1898, the Americans were so excited because they have heard about this place, a resort up the mountain. So, look, my friend, we have the mansion. Oh, another historical part. This is actually the official residence of the American governors in the Philippines. And the first American governor that slept here is American Governor Smith, and the last American governor that slept in this place is Frank Murphy. So, amis na naman siya. What's that part over there? Sabi naman ng isa sa akin. Sabi ko, oh, you know what, my friend? That's named after the second American governor of the United States during the American colonial period. That is American Governor Luke Wright. So, that was nice. That right part is the playground of the children of the American servicemen. Sabi ko sa kanya, no? So, very excited sila. Up to the time, no? Yung city tour namin and the culture, we brought them to the Coffee by the Ruins. Dito na, pumasok na ang culture ng mga Igorots. And I told them, the people born here in the mountains are called Igorots from the word Igorots. It's okay to call us Igorots because I was also born here in the Baguio City. So, I give you a different kind of restaurant. This is the Coffee by the Ruins. It is called Coffee by the Ruins. Actually, this was founded by our national artist, Benedicto Cabrera, and also the Baguio Art Guild. That's when it started. And the one of the famous food here that we have, my friend, is the kamote bread. Yeah. Kamote bread, sabi, that is the sweet potato bread. Curious na naman siya. And of course, we have also the Arabica coffee. So, they have their lunch there, they enjoyed their lunch, and from that, they had another tour all over Baguio City, and most especially the market. We went to the market, and again, curious siya. The tour was so simultaneous. Hindi na kami nagsayang ng oras because they have also hectic sleep. I know they are tired, but hindi ko sila mapapakawalan hanggang hindi sila pumunta sa palengke. No? Nakita ko sa kanila. At unang-unang kong pinakita is nasundot ko lang. They were, ano to? What is this? Siyempre, yung mga asawa nilang mga Pilipina, ito pala yung sundot kulamot, no? Well, ang alam nyo, ang sundot kulamot is kalamay. Sabi ko sa kanila, at ilagay lang po nila dyan sa may shelf, tupang attract lang yan sa Manilas. And it tastes good naman. So, you open the shell, susundutin mo siya, parang kulamot. Saka mo kakainin. Sabi ko natin sa kanya. No? So, they were so tired, we brought him back, at hulaan nyo kung ano yung hotel na pinag-accommodation na. Could you guess what is the hotel? Anyone? New Town Plaza Hotel. Siyempre, promote natin kasi nandito tayo ngayon. So, day 2 na, pagod na sila. Day 2 na. At yung day 2 natin.
Okay, so day 2, going to Sagada, magsusundot po lang din sila. Okay. So yeah, so day 2, going to Sagada. Along the way, so side trip from Baguio to Sabangan, nagdaan sila sa Atok, Bugyas, and then mag-i-stop over sa Sabangan. So doon sila magla-lunch. So magkakaroon ulit ng on hands yung sa kanilang pagkain. So gusto na gagawin namin on hands yung pagkain. Siyempre, gutom na gutom sila. Gustong magluto. So, ang food nila i-prepare nila sa Sabangan is ito yung tinatawag nilang wadi sa Mountain Province. In English, gobi. So, ayan, gobi. And then, aside from the wadi is, we have the igat or yung kiwat. So, eel. Anong tawag sa Tagalog? Basta yun. Yun yung magiging experience nila going to Mountain Province. And then after ng lunch sa Sabangan, so diretso na Sagada. So magkakaroon ng walk tour sa Ticubali and Hanging Cafe. Of course, syempre, guest is kailangan ma-refresh. So, magkakaroon ng lang eye or yung, dap eye. So, yun. While having a dap eye in a bonfire, of course, magkakaroon ng demonstration on how to make the tag in Bugnay wine. Siyempre, para mayroong may uwi yung guest, experience nila kung paano gumawa, and then matitikman ng family pagkatabi nila sa bahay. So, yun yung experience, magiging experience nila sa Sagada. After na, is day 3.
So here we are, guys. This is our day tour, day 3. So we already arrived in the Sagada Mountain Province, which is, we are here now in Sumaging Cave. So Sumaging Cave is very well known as the rock formation and underground rivers. So after going to the cave, we're going to have a lunch. We prepared, what do you call this? You will never visit Sagada if you didn't try their Killing Me Softly. Killing Me Softly, that is Pinipikan actually. And then, after that, after lunch, we need to visit also the Pottery of Sagada. There, you can do it yourself. Do your own what they call this, clay pot. Okay, next.
Now we're going to Hungduan. This is one of the rice terraces in Ifugao. rice terraces in Ifugao. This time they will have their breakfast, but most of the time they will go for trekking. So sa past kasi more on sa past na yung mga first na tour namin one day at yung one is more on food. So dito naman kami mag-concentrate kami sa day 5 going to the rice terraces para makita nila yung one of the UNESCO na awarded as one of the heritage dito sa Ifugao. So mag-hike sila dito. Mostly kasi trekking ito. So within this trekking, i-mention ko na lang yung mga mostly na kakainan nila. Mostly this one is smoked salted pork. Yung term nila dito is pinindang, smoked salted. Or yung isa naman is pinuno or smoked pork sausage. And then yung isang rice one nila means baya. Baya yung tawag nila dun sa Ifugao. So in this day trip, going to the next day 6 is going to Kiangan. May trekking na naman sila dito, trekking and hiking kasi medyo malayo yung lugar. So it takes how many hours to trek. Also in day 7, I will go to Lagawe, trekking and hiking rin. So they will experience the beauty of rice terraces. This time, yung during ng tour nila is that half ripe pa lang yung rice nila. So green talaga yung rice terraces. So you can see the beauty of the rice terraces. Yung tip pala natin, we need to, before going for tour, itong mga gustong mag-hiking ng mga rice terraces, baka nung pumunta na sila, na-harvest na yung rice. So, we need to ask the location and kung kailan sila magpa-plant or kailan magiging green na talaga yung rice terraces. Kasi baka madi-disappoint yung mga ibang turista. Unless kung gusto nila yung may experience yung mag-plant ng rice, so you need to check the municipality or location where you want to visit that rice terraces. Kasi may rice terraces rin tayo dito sa Benguet. Yun lang, hindi gaanong well-known. Ang mas well-known is Ifugao. So sometimes they will tell that rice terraces or Banawe rice terraces is located in Baguio. Pero we need to correct that Benguet, Mountain Province, Ifugao, meron rin tayong rice fields and some part in the Cordillera. So thank you and God bless you. Enjoy the trip here in the Cordillera.
Alright! You still have energy? May energy pa ba? Yes, of course, we are tour guides. Alright, okay, sige. We're just wrapping up. Just a few reminders po for tomorrow. Again, saan po tayo magkita? Anong oras? 8 o'clock. Okay, saan nyo po nagaling yan ha? Ang punishment po bukas, walang pagkain. Okay po ba? Alright, so mabilisan lang po, pinadrawlance natin kayo kanina. The criteria of your judging is in front of you. Aside from that, your commentary should last for 10 minutes po per tao. Kaya po, we've divided you into two. One, may 10 po sa Strawberry Farm. Meron din po
sa Culinary Ambassador. If you can share it wholeheartedly with so much pride, right there and then, okay, Zamboanga. Yun lang yun. It's just a short conversation. So last January, they came here. He came here and brought his chefs. There were 10 of them who traveled to the Philippines. Can you imagine? Hindi lang Zamboanga but traveled around the Philippines. So, I also brought them to the most humble places. The homes of ordinary people who are not chefs, di ba? That's the one that I enjoy the most, di ba? To meet real people. and see how they prepare their cuisine. Tumutulong pa nga sila na magluto para ma-adapt nila. Diba? Sila rin naghuhugas ng plato. Sabi, huwag kayo maghugas ng plato. Ay, hindi, mga ano kami sa restaurant sa may kami maghugas ng plato. So, yung bang immersion with local experiences, no? So, sabi natin, cultural travelers, they are exposed to the many cultures of the world. Alam nila ang flavors of the world. They travel to understand local palate. And I really believe that the Philippines will make it there as a culinary destination. We just have to make sure that we get the word out. So we can do that on our own ways by saying good words or sharing what we learned to other people or posting on social media. Just make sure that you're responsible enough that you have the right content, the right material. They are cerebral gourmands. Ano yung cerebral gourmands? So yung mga gourmands are very particular about good food. No? Yan yung mga gourmands. Ano pa sinabing cerebral? Cerebral gourmands are thinkers. No? They process everything. Diba? Kaya dun sa mission of a culinary guide, I ask you to become critically reflective of everything. Kasi tatanungin yan eh. Hindi lamang yung ingredients, paikot-ikot-ikot ang mga tanong na yan until it points down there. For example, there's a Singaporean author who wrote a very extensive book on food culture with so much recipes and approached me to take him around. Sabi ko, why are you interested in Filipino food as a Singaporean? Award-winning author yan and may sarili siyang, meron siyang bakery shop in Singapore. Apparently, ang Filipino, he grew up with Filipina nannies. Ang mga Filipina nannies niya, pinagluluto siya ng sinigang at kung ano-anong Filipino food, alam niya yung bagoong. At pag umuwi ang mga yaya niya, iniwan siya ng isang buong buko para alam niya yung lasa. Pero dati pa yun, hindi pa masyado kasi meron siyang bote ng bagoong. So, he's Singaporean but grew up in the Filipino palate. So, nakikita ko, our real ambassadors are the OFWs. Yung mga yaya na nagluluto para sa mga kitchens, di ba? Kaya talaga naniniwala ko, one day puputok tayo as one of the leading gastronomy destinations in Asia. Kasi we have silent heroes who are colonizing the palate of the world through our OFWs. Di ba? So there's already familiarity on Filipino food. So ayan, dinala ko siya sa palengke, nagtatanong sa mga locals. That's our local guide. So, bakit ganito ang ingredients? Ang mga tanong, bakit ganito ang mga ingredients? Where did you harvest that? Sa bundok ba yan? Diba? Anong klaseng bundok? Anong klaseng lupa? Diba? Ano, tuwing kailan yan niluluto? Ano ang mga dishes that you make out of that ingredient? Tuwing kailan niluluto yung pagkain na yan? Almusal ba? Special occasion? Or mga cycle of life? Diba? Mayroong mga dishes na ipiniprepare pag namatayan na, diba? So ano yung mga yun? And then I also handled an Italian cookbook writer. Simple lang siya, tuwang-tuwa siya sa book ko. So whatever is ordinary for us can be extraordinary for others. Diba? Nagpunta ako ng Amerika, nagluto ako ng, I had a collaboration dinner in a Phil-Am restaurant. I had siguro mga 35 guests. Naghahanap ako ang lutuin ko yun is a Muslim Mindanao dish which is chicken pianggang. So I need coconut. I need to burn the coconut. And sanay tayo dito na fresh coconut. Doon mo ng fresh coconut. Diyos ko, ang nakuha ko ay frozen coconut. Oo. So and then I realized, napakaswerte pala natin that we have access to fresh ingredients. Doon lahat sa grocery mo na bibilhin. So appreciate whatever you have. Whatever is ordinary for you can be extraordinary for others. So, huwag yung i-bypass, craft the details. Ano ba? Ano ba mastery of an ingredient? Ano ba ang buko? Di ba? Baka sa inyo, relevant ba ang conversation sa inyo ng buko or hindi? Di ba? Kasi baka hindi naman kayo maraming coconut dishes. Pero, master one ingredient as a starter. And then yung book niya nanalo ng international awards din. More than 300 pages na yan na recipes around the Philippines. They are craving for introduction to new food and cooking styles. Imagine yung mga chefs yan. Nag-aral, lalo yung mga PNAMs, no? Yan ay nag-aral abroad at nagtrabaho sa mga top restaurants in the United States. Pag sila pumunta ng Pilipinas, ano ang ituturo niyo sa kanila? Di ba? Do you teach them French techniques? Di ba? Ano ituturo niyo sa kanila? Of course, you have to teach them something that they don't even know, that they cannot find in their respective countries. In the course of my research, I was able to discover a place in Laguna. Isa siyang returning OFW. So, tinanong ko siya, ano po ba ang kwento ninyo? Paano kayo nagkaroon nito? Bakit kayo may farm? Sabi niya, ma'am, actually, ako OFW. So, nag-retire na ako dito para naman makasama ko yung pamilya ko. More than 20 years na akong OFW. So, sabi ko, bakit kayo dito nag-retire? Kasi yung mga magulang ko ay magsasaka. So, gusto kong bumalik sa pagsasaka. So, gumawa siya ng farm, ganyan. Tapos sabi ko, ano ang mga niluluto niyo dito? Sabi niya sa akin, nakatikim na mo ba kayo ng plansyadong lamang lupa? Sabi ko, lamang lupa? Para namang lulo sa punso yun. Di ba? Anong lamang lupa? Sabi niya, yun. Tapos pinakita niya sa akin, alam niyo yung traditional na plancha na mayroon pang mga uling? So sabi niya, ito ay minana ko pa sa lola ko. Naminana pa niya sa lola niya. So that iron is 200 years old. At tuwing, and every, pag halimbawa natutulog sila tanghali, required matulog ng tanghali, nagigising na lang sila sa amoy ng usok. Pag naamoy na niya ang usok, ay magigising na sila, bababa na sila. Alam nila na nagluluto na ang lola nila. Ano yan? Lamang lupa, sa Tagalog, tama naman, ay root crop. Kasi lamang lupa, di ba? Nakakatawa yung pangalan para mga nuno sa punso, di ba? Para may mga espiritu, lamang lupa, ano ba yan? Luto o ano? Pero very catchy yun eh, no? Plansyadong lamang lupa. So ito ay binol, kasama yung mga gata, asukal, yung mga typical na kakanin. Pero ito ay pinipaste niya, no? Tapos nilagay ng fresh coconut. So nilagay sa banana leaves, naka-flat na yan, binalo, tsaka pinlansya. Diba? So luto na siya pinlansya. So it imparted smokiness, including the scent coming from the banana leaves. Kaya ang bango-bango. Kaya nagigising sila magpipinsan, bumababa, para panoorin ng lola na mag-plansyado. So that's the story, di ba? What's the story of your dish? From there, nakikita mo yung kultura eh. Yung kultura na sa hapon, natutulog ang mga bata, nagigising sa amoy ng plansyado ng maglupa. At ang nagluluto ay lola, di ba? At sila magpipinsan, sama-samang nakaupo. Natutuwa, nakangiti, binabantay with so much excitement. Maluluto na ang gawa ng lola, maluluto na ang plansyado. Di ba? Ano ang mga story nyo? Yung mga story na yan, yan na yung skill ninyo. That's your skill already. And that one represents the culinary culture. Anong culinary culture? Ang lola, hindi na dinadala sa mga building, di ba? Hindi yan nilalagay sa mga shelter home na may nurse na nag-aalaga. Ang lola, kasama sa pamilya. And normally, ang lola has a very close relationship with the grandchildren. Kasi sila ang naiiwan sa bahay. That's the culinary culture. Okay tayo? Okay? So that's one story.
Sa Europe, wala.
So ito naman, meron dito mga kakalindi na malagkit, no? Ito naman is in Quezon. So nagluluto lang sila ng yung mga bilo-bilo na ang lalaki, na mga malalagkit, no? Yan ay ginagawa na nila pag New Year. Kasi pag yun, alam mo yung New Year, baka tingin ko yung Chinese fire na yan. Malagkit, para when you welcome the New Year, magdikit-dikit kayo, di ba? Parang sa singular rin sa Chinese.
Sa panay ko naman is, magtong ay pastor ako kami. Anyway, ako po si Kuya Jude, or call me as Gayod, that's my birth name. My full name is Jude Davis. Remember that Baguio was colonized by Americans. So even my name is it's an American, but I'm looking, my looks is like this Japanese or a Chinese.
Konnichiwa.
Or pwede niya kung sabihin.
So, yeah po. Ang nakikita natin po ngayon is it's about the honey in the Pinipig. So, let's talk about the honey. So, about sa honey, dalawa po ang klase ng honey here in Benguet. So, ang isa is yung tinatawag nilang anib. Ito yung bee na nagbabahay doon sa ilalim ng bato or sa kahoy or sa lupa. And the other one na bee is ito yung tinatawag nilang iyukan or yung tutyukan. Ito yung bee na matapang. Pagka napatay mo yung isang bee, lahat ng kasamaan is susugot. Ang pagkuha nila sa bee na ito is yung sa iyukan is more on gumagamit sila ng tusok. So pinapausukan yung hives para yung bee is lalayo sila bago nila kunin yung honey. So thank you.
Sige.
Nice. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming here in our place, Kalinga. And of course, how did you find Kalinga? Okay, thank you. They are very hospitable people, and thank you so much. So, I'm Lian for short. It's your tour guide for today. So, welcome to Kalinga once again, and this is our product once when we tinatawag po namin tapoy sa amin po. Sa iba, tapoy. Pero in Kalinga, we call this tapoy. So, pwedeng, it can be a white rice and it can be a red rice. So, here, we use the red rice or that's we call the unoy. The rice is not in the rice field, but it's in the cleaning system in the mountainous. Okay, so we process it, the rice to the tapoy, and we fermented it, and may araw, may time na may bilang po ng araw. It's depend on the we put the yeast. So it to make the rice ferment. So when you taste the rice wine, our tapoy here in Kalinga, you taste the yeast and the sweetness, the natural sweetness of the wine. And you see we use the pot, the clay pot made of clay, and it's the best way to ferment the rice, the tapoy, what we call the tapoy. And of course, you see the woman wearing our native attire. It represents the respect that when we serve visitors, we use our Kalinga attire to course, to welcome our visitors, our guests. Okay, so that's all. I hope you enjoyed, and thank you once again.
Okay, very good. So, you're very familiar with the subject. And may identification pa siya na it's an unoy. Diba? So, what is an unoy? And then, sinabi niya yung fermentation na ginagawa na nilalagay doon sa... May particular name ba ito? Nilalagyan?
Mais.
Bubud?
Bubud. Gawa sa sugarcane.
I believe you used to ferment. But then yung lalagyan. Is there a name for this?
Yung sugarcane.
Vessel. Where you put the... Oh, sige. So, maganda yung sinabing fermentation. I was just expecting, after that, how long does it take to ferment? Diba? Anong flavor profile as it age? And then, why are you using that kind of vessel for fermentation? Bakit kaya? Diba? Because actually, cooler yan eh. So, it's healthy for fermentation. Parang yung mga sinaunang panahon, diba? Wala namang refrigerator. Yung mga tubig dyan na nilalagay kasi mailamig siya. And in fermentation, you need to have a good temperature. So that one is naturally cool. So it aids the proper fermentation. And then maganda yung pagkakasabi niya yung mga damit, identify niya sa kalinga. Tama ba? Kalinga. Oo nga eh. Iba siya. So, ayun. Okay, congratulations! May mga special occasion, nandiyan talaga. So this depicts the ancient faith of believing to the spirit of the bulol. And bulol, this one is actually it's a wood carving. Diba? Pag wood carving yan, it's basically round pa yan. Pero kung halimbawa may mga rituals, there will be splashes of blood. So over time, nag-oxidize na, then it became black. But this one is very significant. Can you imagine the belief that in every planting, you have to bring out the bulul? And in every harvest, the bulul is present. And there will always be rituals surrounding it. And then after that, you bring it home. You keep it in your own house as a sacred act of faith. Diba? Okay po ba? Is there anyone who wants to try? Wag na, madali lang to eh. Very good, good, very poor. Number 1, was the relevant picture used as an introduction to another relevant topic? So 10 points kasi ito eh. Number 1 yun. Number 2, was the relevant picture appropriately used as the introduction to the commentary? Number 3, is the content robust and properly organized with an introduction, a body, main topic, and ending? Is correct English grammar evident in the commentary's instruction? Hindi naman po kailangan English. Kung ano yung komportable po kayo, basta yung majority ay makakaintindi. Did the presenter engage the listeners by occasionally looking at members of the audience? Was the presenter's voice properly modulated and sounded not too loud nor too soft? Number 7, was the commentary delivered in a timely and appropriate fashion, not too fast, not too slow? Number 8, were keywords appropriately emphasized when necessary by varying the tone of the voice? Number 9, was there trivia and their personal experiences injected in the commentary? Diba? Kahit na humor. Number 10, did the presenter's stance, attire, and poise project self-confidence? Okay. Okay, 10 points. Yan lang. You have to speak for a minimum of 1 minute and then ending for a maximum of 2 minutes. Okay, are you ready for the challenge? Yes! Okay. So, hindi na ba ako magpagalan?
Di ba na ako? Ang apak na nagsabi.
Kayo eh.